Let's see if it's working now. Ooh, I think it's working now. Yes, 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 yes. I'm so sorry for joining me now. I've been trying to get the local SEO Phoenix Lunch Hour going with my guests and was having technical issues. So hopefully they haven't given up on me. Let me invite them over. Invite guests. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Alicia. And I don't know where Dimitry is. Nope. That's not him. Come on over. Come on in, you guys. Anyways, I'm so excited to get this started because I have wasted about close to 20 minutes, 25 minutes getting this thing up and working. Alicia, you're live, okay? Kyle, you're live. I'm so excited to get this thing going. It's been such a delay today.
Finally got it going?
Yes, finally. I had to rewatch the video. There were a couple settings that were supposed to stay like saved in Facebook and they were not saved in there. So
Hey, George says you can see us.
Oh, good, good. There's Dimitry. He should be coming through. Wow. We've got a lot of faces except Alicia, who's the void, like you pointed earlier.
You got the AI created void. Yeah.
There we go. Dimitry, you're live, okay? Don't let people know you're a MAGA fan.
No, I don't like anyone knowing. Yes. And see here, I'm drinking my red Coca-Cola, which is
actually, what's in it?
Well, it's full of it's Trump like nectar. Right?
Trump
fresh squeezed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So what are we talking about today? I think we left off on SEO bidets last time, didn't we?
We did. How's that venture coming along? Have we registered the domain yet?
Yes.
Actually,
it's doing very well.
Yeah, we're set to take over the SEO bidet market just a month in. To our venture.
If you guys find me texting you or responding to you on Facebook, that means I'm on the toilet. I don't do it
on the SEO bidet.
So yeah, no, seriously. So it's actually like it's like me and texting and being on Facebook or Instagram is synonymous with that.
The end right now, you could actually be on the toilet.
That's right. We wouldn't even know. We wouldn't even know.
What I'm saying.
You know? That would be like the quietest activity he's doing while having a conversation with.
So anyway,
we can move on with from SEO bidets, but how's your guys' day been? Each one of you, how's it
closing
going?
Deals, just closing deals.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's been a good week. I think all of us closed some deals this week, right?
Yeah, we were talking about it behind the scenes, so I'm super excited about that.
Nice.
How about you and Alicia, Dimitry?
I'm not going to tell you nothing special, but but I'm like, I guess I'm having a wonderful day. I will say that I'm having a wonderful day.
I mean, we're going to get that enterprise company for PPC, right?
Well, that should work. Yeah.
Yeah. Pam's got a couple deals closing.
Yep.
That's great. What about you, Alicia? How's it going over there?
Good.
What state are you coming in from? You're in Northeast.
Connecticut.
Okay.
So you're not getting that hurricane though, right? Like you're pretty far away from it.
Yeah, I'm a good over 1,000 miles from Florida.
Okay. Well,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, there are times when.
Go ahead.
There are times when we would have typhoons 1,000 miles away from us down here in Southern California, but we would still get the surf and stuff. At least when I was working at the marina, we were all on alert and shit. Yeah.
Right. How's your week been, Alicia?
Not bad. working on some websites, which is like my least favorite thing to do, but necessary evil. So they're new accounts, so that's always a good thing.
It's always
You
going to be
gotta-
busy.
Unfortunately, you got to be, it's, it's like the unfortunate part of like doing this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you do it yourself, though, then it's going to be done right. And that's a problem that we were going with another client. He went with this web dev company, Dimitry. That's what I was telling you about earlier today. And this web dev company just fucked up his analytics, fucked up his search console, fucked up everything, internal linking and shit. So I told him, you know what, just moved over to us. I spent 2 minutes fixing something they couldn't fix for a week. And it was just an iframe. Yeah, it was an iframe. They had it 800 pixels, so half the tool was cut off, and they had no scroll bar. Which it's literally as easy as putting scroll bar equals yes,
Yeah.
right? Or
You're
scrolling
right.
equals yes, right? And they didn't do that. So I just went in there and I increased from 800 to 3200 pixels, and his tool's working now, and it's just stupid shit like that. Which is why I don't mind working on the sites as long as we're the ones working on it and creating it, because then we know we can get things fixed.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it when there's always like that marketing director who has to have things a certain way, and they have to like they just don't know what they're talking about half the time. And aesthetics is more important than this. And they talk about conversions, and then they'll say things like, the bounce rate. They'll just like regurgitate whatever they hear on YouTube.
Yeah.
But it's
Neil Patel said
the time that people spend on the website and the bounce rate. How are you gonna improve that? I'm like, dude, get away.
So have you guys
by
had
telling me to fuck off and let me do my job?
Yeah, exactly.
have you guys and gal had the fear that if you're not hands on and you scale more, that you're gonna lose that control of quality work for your clients? Have you had to deal with that and keep it in check?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the reasons, I had a partner who I kind of let do his own thing, and I wasn't watching over his department enough, and he just fucked everything up, fucked me over.
Yeah.
Right. So there is that fear, but it's something that I learned from. And I think as long as you learn from it and you make plans and you know what you did wrong, what to do next time, then you should be good. And it's also a reason why you need to have all these SOPs and processes, and you need to know how everything works. I mean, you've seen we've got 200 SOPs, right?
Yes, I have seen that.
Dimitri's just fucking killing it with processes and stuff and keeping everybody in line. Like, I'm not joking. Like, he's like the operations guy that everybody needs.
That's awesome.
And thank you, Kyle. Thank you. But to answer your question, Moon, specifically, because I think she asked a question and you didn't answer it, Kyle, and I think that's the problem. Okay, the problem is the communication element here.
Okay.
Wow, that was so professional. I saw an eye on him. I was whoa.
No, I'm just
corporate.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get serious here. Because we are getting corporate here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
No, but Moon, you're right. As you grow, I think the problem is also like you have to let other people do the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's hard. It's hard for me to let go. It's hard for Kyle to let go in many instances. But those SOPs are so important because once you let go and someone doesn't do it right, you can eventually be like, well, hey, did you see in here where it said you got to do X, Y, and Z, but you didn't, and so,
I think SOPs are the hardest part. Do you have any input here, Alicia?
I can't let go, and that's why I'm just me, a freelancer, and not an agency. In the past, anytime I've tried to let go, it's just turned into a complete shit show. And even with SOPs, nobody cares about your clients as much as you do, and nobody has the same work ethic that you do. And I
would argue about that because we've got some really good staff members who are just totally ride or die in our agency.
Yeah.
It's also it's like you got to get good at building rapport with people, right? If you're going to work with someone online, you got to build rapport. So like I hate meetings, right? Like we don't have L10 meetings once a week. We don't have any of that bullshit. I mean, what I do is this: like, I'll talk to somebody, we'll just bullshit for a little bit. I'll ask them questions about their life. I don't know, just to get to know them.
Right.
Because really, at the end of the day, like, you know, we all want to, like, I mean, you don't, you know, if you work with someone that doesn't do that, that isn't open, that isn't willing to do that, well, then guess what? What else? I don't know. What else are they hiding? Usually,
Yeah.
they have like 4 other jobs and they don't care about you, and they're just trying to take care of, you know, they're trying to just like pass by and just do little to nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I've had really good hires and really bad ones, admittedly. Like, you know, and that's when your fears come true and you're like, I'm never doing this again. But I think you need to realize that, you know, like, yeah, it's true. No one's going to care about your clients as much as you do, right? Like, it's you, it's your business. But also, like, when you get that, those not employees, like team members or whatever, to work for you, and they show you your skill set and they show the dedication and the things that you didn't even realize, it's like, oh shit, I hired the right person. So
Right.
Alicia, have you only tried this a couple times and kind of were like, oh no, I'm done hiring, I'll just do this myself?
Yeah, it hasn't been much. Like maybe 4 people, 5 people
Yeah.
at most over
Okay.
the span of like 13 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not like I've, you know, really dove into the workforce there and tapped into the labor pool. Just, yeah, like you said, you hire a person, you have a bad experience. When you're already struggling to let go of that work, it's
Mm-hmm.
so much harder to hire the second person. And then
Yeah.
after, you know, a series of several bad experiences, it's just like, well, screw this, I'm just going to do it myself.
But I mean,
Yeah.
it's like dating. I mean, you're building this agency, this business, right? Like that becomes a huge part of your life, right? It's just about finding the right people. Like you don't date one person, have bad experience, and you're like, ah, fuck this, I'm gonna go be a hermit in the mountains or whatever,
Well, I
right?
have a couple times. Just
Well,
kidding.
For that is
maybe I'm just an eternal optimist.
No, you know what? You're right, because here's the other problem. This is what I would throw at you. By the way, is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
Oh, okay. So this is what I would like throw at you is this is like, yes, you've got your, let's say you have 5 clients, right? Right. And those clients, eventually you're going to find a client that's going to pay you more, right? There's like the higher end client, right? But you have your initial clients you kind of like did a bunch of stuff for because you wanted to keep them, you wanted to learn and kind of like say that you can do something, right? But now as you get those higher end clients and your lower paying ones are expecting the same service, you see what I'm saying? Then you end up like suffering because like you don't want to break that relationship, right? And that's when it's the right time to hire somebody. You know, because then it's like, hey, like listen, so and so is going to be handling you now, and it's surprisingly it's worked well. Like I was really resistant to it initially, and Kyle really kind of like brought me in. And guess
Yeah.
what? I'm like, you know what? This is fantastic. Go ahead and make those phone calls and talk to them and waste hours talking to them about some dumb shit about, you know, where they're ranking or they're not ranking, you know, and like explaining to them and listening to their stories. Sorry about that bell. I don't know where that bell's coming from.
Yeah, you're in your bathroom,
Somebody's
right?
on my
You're
couch.
in your bathroom. That's the SEO bidet alarm.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be right back. Yeah, you can let it go. Yeah, that's what Kyle taught me. And you know what? I'm actually happy. I'm happy about that.
And I'm actually kind of right at that threshold right now where I really can't handle anything else on my plate if I want to still maintain a work-life balance, which I'm trying very hard to do right now because I actually have that for the first time in my life.
It's nice,
Mhm.
isn't it?
It really is.
That's yeah.
Well, let's talk later, Alicia. Maybe we can give you some strategies and some tips and stuff. Like
All right.
I've been building agencies for 15 years now.
That's insane. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna talk too. No,
Wait,
and also
what are
like,
you guys talking about? How come I'm not a part of that conversation?
Come with us. Come talk.
Join
We'll
us.
we'll have our own little powwow on how to grow an agency.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't break any more SEO bidets, you're welcome. Yeah. No, and also like I feel like, I don't know, hiring somebody, for me anyway, like hiring a couple people is essential because during the pandemic, I've gotten sick a couple times with COVID, and it's taken me 2 weeks to get back on my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's nothing worse than, like, clients are waiting on reports, or they have questions, or there's work that needs to be done, and you feel like shit laying on the couch or whatever, resting and recovering. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, whether you want to grow or just make sure that you have the help you need, I feel like it's necessary
Right.
to have like a small team that you trust to do the
Right.
work. Yeah.
And also, like, when you hire or partner with somebody, you want to plug in holes like where you're weakest at. Like, our project manager Wendy is just fucking awesome. She's the one who's, like I said, is ride or die. I can't do
Yeah.
the shit that she does. I don't have the patience for it. I don't have the people skills for it. Like I said, Dimitry is like the operations master. Like, he's in here optimizing our workflows and shit. And it's, again, something I don't have the time or the patience to do. So when you
Yeah.
hire people like that, like, you are, I mean, you're growing your, I don't want to say skill set, but your capacity, like, just like exponentially.
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
that's, I mean, if you don't, I mean, if you're happy just like, being a freelancer or whatever, pulling in 30, 40 grand a month, cool. More power
Mhm.
to you.
Yeah.
But like, I'm an egomaniac. I want to take over fucking everything. So,
Yeah. But
yeah.
you know what, though? Here's the other thing. And here's the one thing. Like, you and I know how to do a lot of things, right? Like, for the most part, like, I can do almost, like I could do Facebook ads, Google ads, build the website, do SEO. I could do it all, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
What happens is that I've seen that a lot of times people rely on other people to do a certain task, right? That they don't know how to do. So they're going to hire somebody and they're going to say, okay, you're going to run my email marketing, for example. But like the person, me, for example, doesn't know how to set that up or how to track. That's when that's what I found. Like, you've got to be able to do it yourself. You can't just rely, because then you have to be able to like see what you're doing, right? It's like if you're a general contractor, you have to know how to do drywall. You have to know how to do plumbing. You don't have time to do it, but you got to know how to do it so that you know that they're doing it wrong or right.
100%. Absolutely.
I was just
So
going to say that too.
were you going to say something, Alicia?
I was just going to say basically the same thing that Dimitri did too. Like, if I find somebody to fill a gap that I don't know, I don't have the ability then to QA their work, and that gives me a tremendous amount of anxiety.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If I hire somebody who does something I know how to do, then I'll just do it myself. So that's kind of also my stumbling block there.
Right. I mean, I see what you guys are saying and everything, and absolutely, I agree with it. There does have to be a certain point, though, to where you have to be able to trust somebody or whatever. Like where I am right now, like, there is shit that I don't know how to do that I just trust my team to do. Like setting up Asana workflows, I don't fucking know how to do that. I don't want to be in Asana all day, so I
Yeah.
let other people do that. And like email marketing and shit, like, I know the basics, the rudimentary. Like, I can set up a cold email campaign, but I don't know how to track like opens and A/B tests and shit like that. Like, when we're going to be hiring somebody to do that, but I just had to trust that they're doing it. Because if I only hired people to where I already knew their stuff, then I would be limiting myself and putting myself in a box. There is a certain amount of trust and like intuition you have to use when building out your team.
I like that. I do feel like you have to have the trust, right? Like, it's one of those things where if you just want to scale up to a certain level, then it's one of those things you just have to trust your team
Mhm.
at that point to get things done. So I wrote down a question which goes hand in hand with this, I think. Can you run a SEO agency without having a deep understanding of SEO?
Nope. Absolutely fucking not. I will tell you that right now. So
Go.
Yeah. Sorry.
in my previous life, I had a white label agency. It's still around.
Yeah.
But the people who didn't have knowledge of SEO were the hardest people to work with and the worst fucking clients, because they could not communicate what they were doing, what the results were, and why things were happening to their clients. And then when that happened,
Yeah.
their clients would get poached by some Indian company who promised them like 7 pages of deliverables every single
Oh.
fucking month because they didn't know what SEO was. So I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have an understanding of SEO, don't start an SEO agency. Partner with somebody who does. If you want to focus on sales, then partner with an SEO. But
Yeah.
don't go into this thinking you're going to build some 7-figure agency working 5 hours a week and outsourcing everything, because you're fucking not. And you're going to waste everybody's time. You're going to lose money, and you're going to piss people like me off.
Mhm.
So unless you have an understanding of SEO, don't go into this, or partner with somebody who does.
Right.
And then the question is this, is that if you're going to partner with someone who does, what are you bringing to the table? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're probably bringing jack shit for me, unless you got like a lot of money that, like if someone came to me and was like, hey, I want to start an SEO agency. What are you going to do, bro? Like, what are you going to do, pal? Like, shut the fuck up. And here, I'm going to just highlight what Kyle said.
Just
yes.
Put up or shut up. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Like all these people that, it's like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's the same people who are like, oh, I'm going to build a funnel, and I'm going to do click funnels, and I'm going to build a funnel, and I'm a marketer. It's the same people. It's like really, really exciting. Like, ooh, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my own, like little Shopify store, and I'm going to sell stuff, and I'm going to put it all on this, And it's like everyone, it's exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's like me wanting to be a police officer when I was a kid. I just wanted to drive around really fast in cars and like,
same here.
And like, kind of like run into a house and like, whatever. But that's not police work, right? And it's like, I think that's just what it is. It's like, if your heart's not in it, if you don't really know it, then don't do it. But then the beautiful thing is people like me and Kyle will then just circumvent you because you guys are complete morons. I'm sorry to say that, but it's true.
Damn.
You're
but
right.
hey, we're having open conversations. I appreciate the
Who cares?
I mean, it's a hard truth to hear. But if you want to start an SEO agency because you've been sold this like pipe dream of being able to start a 7-figure agency and just fucking outsource everything, and that's not going to happen. I can tell you for a fact from personal experience that is not going to happen. You need to be learning SEO. You need to be down in the trenches, making the cold calls, doing cold emails, talking to people, learning about SEO, because, even if you do white label and outsource shit, I can tell you for a fact, all the white label agencies out there are bullshit. There's one guy who even fucking threatened me, one of the biggest white label SEO agencies in the world, who threatened me because we're taking his clients because he couldn't do shit. Right? Moon, you're probably the only white labeler out there that I would trust. I'm not even joking. So if you think that you can start an SEO agency just because you can sell to good people, you got to realize you're going to be managing the accounts. You have to be talking to your clients. You have to be able to explain SEO. And if you can't do that, then you're going to lose your clients. And then people like me and Dimitry are going to gobble them all up.
Here's what happens. Okay. We get a phone call. This is a true story. I'm not going to say who. I get this account manager just giving me some grief. Like, oh, how am I supposed to present this report to my client?
Not a problem.
Because it's a ranking report that went down on 1 week, right? And I would say, and I just went off. I'm like, what I would do is I would take that as a win, because here's the thing: if you know anything about SEO, blah blah blah, it goes up and down, and it's not about what you like. It's not about this constant rise. It's about understanding the ebb and flow. It's about understanding how to navigate those waters. The fact that you don't know this shit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, and then the other problem is this: how do you identify a problem and then just circumvent that with saying like, hey, don't worry about it. Like during this downtime in the economy, I'm going to run some ads for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we just we just make shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Yeah. I can't stand that. And most of those people are just, they're just ego driven. They're like, they want like, oh, I just want to do the 4-hour work week, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It doesn't happen. That doesn't work.
They all read the same book. I'm going to read Sun Tzu, and I'm going to tell you, like, because I'm a fucking, I'm an animal. I read this book on business. Fuck off. I'm so tired, honestly. By the way,
and you know what? This is the same client where we took the same partner where we took one of their white label clients from 14% map pack covers to 51% in 1 month.
Oh, dude, yes, and they're complaining. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you don't have a background in SEO and you don't know how to properly communicate wins and losses to your clients. Like if you have your baseline as what you started with, you index that, like say at 100, right? We'll say 100 is the index, and then you go up 40 some odd percent met pack coverage, right? Then you're at say 140, and then it goes down 10%. Then you're at 130. But when you compare that to the benchmark at 100, you're still up 30%. You're still up,
of course,
3 standard deviations from the mean. But if
Right.
you're worried about how do I explain this to my clients, and you do not need to be an SEO.
Oh
Just
yeah,
quit.
of course.
Just stop.
Right. That's
Because
super. Yeah.
owning an agency is not just about doing SEO. It's about client management, client communication.
Absolutely. What about you, Alicia? It's really funny. I keep having to prompt you because I can't see your face. So I'm just going to
Look,
ask
Moon,
you.
if you could gaze upon the void, the great cosmic void that is Alicia, your human mind couldn't handle it. You would go crazy. So just be
Yeah.
thankful that you don't see her true form. Okay?
We would be incinerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know what you think, Alicia.
I mean, I started out as a white labeler for like 8 years.
Yeah.
And most of the time I was white labeling for people who were web designers and didn't have their own in-house SEO.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I would say for the most part, they stayed in their lane and they deferred any questions. I was really more of like a gray labeler because they would introduce me as being somebody who worked for their agency. So the client did know I existed, but I was part of that agency. So that always worked as a nice arrangement because the salesperson / web developer was not overstepping and was not responding in alarmist ways to the client or saying things that were stupid.
Yeah.
I've also worked with like a true salesperson tech fulfillment arrangement, and the problem there is like you guys were saying, the people who are out there just doing strictly sales who don't have a clue about SEO are fueling the fire more often than they're helping because the client comes in with a complaint and the salesperson doesn't know what they're saying, doesn't know how to diffuse it. Usually, it makes it worse, exponentially worse. And now you're having to like calm the salesperson and the client, when truthfully that salesperson should be your ally, not the client's ally.
Right.
Because there's a correlation. There's a reason because they think a drop in rankings is a correlation for a lack of work or a lack of
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Very often.
That's what they see. So that's why when they see that, like I just I mean, it's just that's just what it is. And I do think that the problem is, again, if you just don't understand it, then it's like, again, it's like this. It's like if you're sailing and there's a captain. If it's Captain Ron, that was a great movie, by the way.
Great movie.
Like, Captain Ron, he looks rough around the edges, but you know what? He can handle the things. Like, so you see that there's a storm, you see that there's choppy water, but Captain Ron seems to be able to handle it. It's a lot different than Captain Ron being like, you know what? I'll be right back. Goes below deck, locks the door, and just hopes that it ends. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's why. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's essential to partner with someone who knows the SEO side of things. And even if you're like the face of the business or the seller or whatever, right? Like you should know the basics of SEO, right? Like you should know what you're selling at the very basic level. So you can answer super basic questions and then, pass on the work to your team or any questions. But yeah, it just reminds me of back in the day, 10, 15 years ago, everybody was like, just onboard your clients and, like outsource it all. And like,
and people are still saying that it doesn't work.
Yeah. And it's like SEO it's very specialized now. Like you gotta look at an audit, spot a problem. You gotta try to fix that first before, you run like a campaign full on.
Right.
So there's just these nuances, and I think, at the very least, partner with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But
if you partner with somebody who knows what they're doing, then you have to bring something to the table too, right?
Yeah.
Because yes, you can go out and sell and stuff, but cool, you also got to do account management, and this is where you have to know about SEO and you have to be able to explain things. Because you got nerds like me who are just like, oh yeah, so this happened and it was these things and these sites are showing these things. You need to be able to communicate that to the layperson.
Yeah, and say it in layman's terms where it makes sense to the client. Right.
Exactly. And so much of running a successful agency is client communication. Like what we do is we have we have our account managers emailing our clients every Monday or Tuesday, depending on how much time they have, saying, "Hey, just want to check in. Here's what we're doing this week. Here's what we got on tap. Do you have any questions?" Shit like that. And people love it. We have our client portal set up to where they can get their reports whenever they want. They can submit a support ticket. They can see what keywords we're working on. And that all these things are such an important part of running an agency, this client communication part. But you also have to be able to take these SEO concepts and explain them to a client at their level.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So if you don't know SEO, then don't start an agency. Just save
Yeah.
everybody else grief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I think tarnishes the industry as a whole, because there's a whole lot of shitheads out there who just claim to be an SEO,
Yep.
do the client dirty. Now they have a general distrust about SEOs, and the rest of us
Right.
come along who actually do know our stuff.
100%.
We're fighting an uphill battle all the time because these other people have tarnished our reputation.
Right. And this is why you raise your rates high enough to where you only get the people who know the value of SEO. Right? Like if you're trying to get $5 per month, $1,000 per month clients, I mean, one, they don't really have the money. Two, like they're probably just dipping their toes in SEO, and the moment something goes south, they're just going to flip out on you.
You're gonna bail.
Right? But if you get those $2,500, $3,000, $4,000 per month clients, they already know the value of SEO.
Yeah.
Right? Like that being said, like, with Green Hat, we are targeting lower end, but we're all, we do the free until you rank SEO and shit, but we also aren't afraid to just fucking jettison people if they piss us off.
Yeah. Right. That's.
I mean, honestly, I've told more clients to go fuck themselves, literally, and they stuck around. It's hilarious. And the reason
I really gotta see this.
No, it's true.
I really need to see this, man.
No, I'm not even making it up. And the reason why is because, and I've had clients, like I've had 2 clients leave. They've come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, it was during COVID. The other one, I did tell her to go fuck off, and she did. But she came back crawling, and the thing is that like, if you are legitimate, you know what you're doing, then people will notice that. Like they'll notice the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like literally, like she was like, I got 4 PI patients this month, and that's like for a chiropractor, that's huge.
Yeah.
It means they get to like make deals with the attorney, right? So if that happens and you're the one that's in charge of that, then you get to tell them to go fuck themselves. That's the best feeling too.
Yeah.
That is absolutely the happiest, the best day of self-employment is that day when you can tell a client to go fuck themselves. Because when you first start out, you're desperate. You're like, okay, I'll work 100 hours a month for you for $250, and I'll take your call.
Yeah.
I would be your bitch. And then you get to that point where, I mean, I'm by no means like wealthy, but I'm stable enough now where I can be choosy about my clients, and if they don't make me happy, they're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I think that also the true test of what a good SEO is being able to identify, like, even if you're not familiar with the niche, being able to identify whether or not you can actually do something about it. And that's something that most people can't do, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Be like, yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. I could do this ceremonial thing for you. I can make things, I can put on a nice, pretty website, and we could do this, but nothing's going to happen unless you do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I've lost some deals that way, but I don't want to work for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because it's not going
to the unsell, and I've had those too, where like SEO is really not, if it's a business that has a limited budget and SEO is not what's going to move the needle for them, I don't want their money.
Right.
And I'm going to be completely transparent and tell them, like, this is not where you should be spending your precious dollar right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get it. And then those people, I mean, I've had people come back to me like 6, 7, 8 years later when they actually do have money and be like, hey, you didn't want to work with me back then because you thought I'd do better over here. And, you gave me good advice, and now I have a bigger budget, and can I work with you? They remember that kind of stuff.
And you're like, who? That was 2 presidents ago. Give me your name.
My children are grown now. No, and nothing's
person that sells snake oil, or just wants every dime you can get out of them. They're gonna remember that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah, I've had some lower budgeted, or like let's say under $1,000 a month, where they are on their last leg and they're just hoping that you can get them the results, right? And that
Right.
creates so much pressure, and I'm like, you know what? Save it. Try something else, because this isn't gonna pay off until like maybe 2 to 4 months from now. You know what I'm saying? And just the pressure of it is crazy.
Right.
So yeah, definitely agree with the things you guys are all saying over here.
Yeah, and at that point, if they can only spend $700 a month in advertising, like they're already dead in the water.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that you can do that's gonna save their business, which is what they're looking for you to do. They're looking for you to save their business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We have a couple comments. I'll just read them out before we move on. Maher says, "How are you?" George says, "I can't see Alicia."
Because Alicia is the unfathomable void beyond human comprehension.
The SEO void.
Yeah.
And George, this must have been when we were talking about Dimitry and his MAGA drink.
George, your anniversary, just fuck.
George said, "No diet Mountain Dew."
Nah,
yeah,
that is the way to go. Yeah.
That's funny. That's a deep cut. That's funny.
So George says he can't get his brother to expand. He has more clients than he knows what to do with, but he won't ruin his brand because the next employee may not put their heart into it.
But his brother?
That happens. George's brother does he's appliance repair. He's like super good at it. And, which is why he has more.
Too many clients, but he doesn't want to expand because he doesn't want to do that, correct? Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. Like I used to do air conditioning, for example, right? And just like anything else, you're gonna have a guy that is kind of just like not going to be able to get the job done. You can't trust him. So what we call them is like the filter bitch, right? And so basically that's all they do. They just do filters, and filters is just changing filters. It's just like a boring job, but it's like it's a job. Someone's got to do it. But we get to sit and like relax while you go ahead and do that because you're basically whatever. I think the problem is that again, it's like anything else. You're going to find someone who is capable, someone who understands the mechanics, someone who understands how to troubleshoot, right? And you can use that analogy for SEO, right? So you can use that analogy and say, hey, can someone troubleshoot like Kyle did with that form today, right? Can you just find someone that can troubleshoot and just figure it out? So there's troubleshooters, and then there's like equipment replacers, right? There's people that can come in and troubleshoot the problem and save clients money. And then there's people that are like equipment replacers, right? Which cause the cost to apply clients more. And so I agree with George in the sense of like, it's hard to find that, right? Yeah. But it is possible, right? Again, you have to pay people well. If you're going to want someone legitimate, you have to pay them well.
Yeah, you do.
And it's hard to pay an American well, especially in a big city.
Right.
Money got to make it. Healthcare, money, it's not easy.
Tough. Yeah.
No.
It is tough.
But when you find those people, you got to treat them really well because you want them to stick around.
Yeah, you want the rock stars.
Yep.
Yeah. Like that's what we do. Like some of my first hires are still with us. Like no joke, because I just keep I recognize their talent, they're hard workers. Like our head of off-page SEO, he was the second hire I ever made 3 years ago, right? And I recognize that he gets the job done. Like he doesn't make excuses. He just works until it's done. He helps his coworkers out. So I give him consistent raises whenever he needs time off. I'm like, just go, dude. Just have fun, whatever. Yeah. But with people who aren't cutting it, like we're just letting go of another link builder who was with us for a month and a half because he couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
So you just gotta fire those people fast and take your time hiring people.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like raises, bonuses, that stuff matters because I've been on the other end of it, right, before my career took off. But when I was working for someone else, it just sucked having to ask to get a raise when you're doing a great job and they're working you all the time. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
don't put them in that position where they're the ones asking for the raise if they're doing a great job, right? Like, because at that point, once I had had enough, there was nothing he could pay me to keep me around.
Well, that dude lost out.
Yeah, I
and
was
then
done. Thank
100%.
you.
And then if you got people like me who I got my start by, kind of latching onto certain people who were in the industry or whatever, right? And learning here, learning there, experiencing something like that. And guess what? I was I used them, right? Clearly they paid me shit. One guy was paying me $10 an hour. I'm not kidding, in like 2015.
Right.
But it's like, all right, whatever. But I used him to then get where I needed. So like sometimes also you have to be cautious that you will find someone that is smart enough to like kind of figure a couple of things out on their own.
Mhm.
And so you also have to be cautious of what you teach people, right? So sometimes teaching people too much is too much. And so I would think of it like this. I mean, this is kind of how we do it. So we have like silos, right? We have silos. We have a silo. So like just like when they did like the Manhattan Project, they had, someone was working on this component and this component, but they kept the secrecy in a free society by these people not knowing what these people were doing. But then like one group of people knew where all the parts should be put together. So what we'll do is we have a silo, people that are writers. Yeah, we'll teach them the writing aspect, great, but they don't know how to do the link building. And then we'll teach one person this and that. So they become experts in that area, right? But then if they do try to fuck you over and leave, it's like, okay, fine, that's great. Like you only know one part of the whole picture.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Right.
also are very like tight with our knowledge. We don't just hand over the keys.
Yeah. Got it. That's a good idea. That makes sense.
Alicia, you're writing all the stuff down for when you hire?
Question for you, like, how do you handle the transition where you're kind of like in that bubble where your monthly income isn't really quite sufficient to pay somebody what they're worth, but you need somebody with that skill level?
So, I mean, I've been there, right? Like I said, this isn't my first time starting agencies and shit. I've started multiple, and when I've had to start from zero a couple times, right? Like when I first started doing SEO, it was affiliate and shit, right? And then fucking Penguin went and destroyed everything, right? This is back in like 2012, right? Because like admittedly back then, like I didn't really do SEO. Like I knew the basics of marketing, I knew keyword research and shit, but then I just would slam links onto a page. So that destroyed me. I had to start from zero there. Like after my divorce, started from zero there too, right? And I had been in the position as to where I felt like I could not pay somebody what they were worth at that exact moment. So what I have always done is, well, one, like I always forecast. Like I forecast to where I will hire somebody if I can reasonably expect to make 5x their hourly within 90 days, which means you have to know what your pipeline is and everything and how long it takes you to close clients and everything, right? But when you're making your first hire, it's like, yeah, dude, like I can't afford to pay you if it's like, the Philippines or whatever. Like I can't really afford to pay you $1,500 a month. But here's what I can do. I fully expect you to leave at some point. I will tell you everything you need to know, right? You're going to get paid $800 a month. You're going to do link building. You're going to build GSACs for me. You're going to do cloud pages for me and shit like that. But I will tell you everything you need to know, fully expecting you to take this and move on to a better position, right? And with that, you're building that rapport with somebody to where, like, obviously you have to actually care about them, but to where they feel like you have their back and you want to teach them, which you do. And I love teaching people. When I say that, I mean it. Like I fully expect people to leave. Like our old project manager, she's a NICU nurse now, right? But when you do that, people recognize that you're genuine and that you look out for them, and people really appreciate that. Obviously, you need to give them consistent raises, because when you're hiring somebody, you need to do that with the expectation that, like I said, one, you're going to make 5x your salary in 90 days. Two, that it's going to free you up to do other more important revenue generating things like going out and selling or upselling your current clients, right? So you can give them those raises. So that's how I've always done it. Is just by being genuine And if you can't give them monetary value, then you give them value somewhere else, like the knowledge to further their careers.
Right. And to just add to that, that's the same thing I've done. I've had to start from zero a couple times, right? And like that's just how the journey goes for agency owners sometimes, right? So it can be a roller coaster in the beginning, or even as circumstances happen in life. But when hiring people or when you spot talent, it's good to just have a heart to heart with them. And say, hey, like I can't pay you. Like I know you're a rock star and I need your skill set, but I can only pay you this much for now. But as I grow, I will give you raises or whatever, right? Like I feel like that does hit with people. So
Yeah,
that's
like I
where
said,
you're
like
going.
if you're genuine and you genuinely have you genuinely want to, it's like everything else. You just help people,
Yeah.
just serve people. If and people realize that, then they're gonna want to stick around with you. Like our current project manager, Wendy. Like
Mhm.
I originally hired her part time at a little under market value, but I said, hey, you know
Mhm.
what? I'm gonna teach you everything.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna take this and we're gonna grow and shit. And she's been with us for 2 years now. She's quadrupled her salary since she's been with
Awesome.
us. And it's because like I was real with her. I said, you know what? We're in the beginning stages. Here's what it is. Here's our plan. Here's what you could be at. And
Yeah.
she's our VP of operations now. Like she reports only to Dimitry at this point. But I think that if I wasn't real with her and told her, hey, I'm gonna teach you what you know to get a better job later, I don't think she would have stuck around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that help you, Alicia?
Yeah, for sure.
Good. Good.
Yeah. I mean, going into these things, just trying to help people is going to get you is going to go a long way rather than going into things just trying to extract things from people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you have any input, Dimitri?
Yeah, I mean, you can't be like a control freak. You have to be willing to let go. You have to be okay with that, and you have to be like willing to accept the fact that if someone doesn't learn something, it might not necessarily be because they're lazy or because they just don't get it. It could be like your delivery, the way you teach them.
Yeah.
And we noticed that recently where I made some sort of process that made complete sense to me and Kyle, but for some reason I went through like person through person to person, they couldn't get the fucking job done. And it was annoying. And I finally realized, I was like, you know what? Maybe they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Because it's like they just don't get it. And like maybe it's just something they don't get. And so, at that moment I realized it wasn't like it was my fault, right? It was my fault that they didn't like learn how to do that task that would help me. So I found a different way to have them do it. And I
Yeah.
think part of it is letting go. The other part is like starting small. Give them things that are just minute, things that like if they fuck up, who cares, right?
Right.
The world, right? And then see how that goes. Grow from there. Like that's what I would do.
Well, Dimitri, how was it when we first started working together?
I mean, I was on my own, kind of like you, Alicia, and basically just, like I knew that I needed to I knew I needed a team. I knew I needed to work with somebody. And what happened was when I started working with Kyle, I didn't want him to I just wanted to like learn, right? Because I knew there was some stuff that he knew that I didn't know, right?
Yeah.
So the way it started off was like, I started reading all of his SOPs. I started following his processes. I finally understood a process. Then I realized like, oh, like half these people are fucking full of shit. They're not doing anything. So then we started getting rid of them. And so really what it is, we started getting rid of people because there is a way to identify whether or not they're actually doing the work, right? You see what I'm saying? So then once you do that though, you can find other ways to like to get them to do the work, which I found was like that silo method, right? Where
Yeah.
you don't okay, you're gonna do this, and this. No, just make them do one thing. You're
Yeah.
just gonna write content for us. You're just gonna do GBP posts.
Right.
You are just gonna post stuff on the website. That's all you're gonna do, right? And then you can really you can see through the like that's when you can kind of see the problems when they come up. Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, my rule of thumb is to teach someone 2 things so that if another team member gets sick and they can't fulfill that other thing, then this person can jump in and do it. So I do think it's a balance of teaching them or having them specialize in a couple things without like spreading it too thin, if that makes sense, and teaching them too much. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Good stuff. Let me take a look at.
Man, we were talking a lot about agency operations and growing an agency today.
I
Like
know,
this is less about SEO and more about agency growth.
Yeah.
Like,
are you complaining or are you enjoying?
no, I mean I love this stuff. I'm just a
this
little
is
drunk.
cool.
That's all.
I just think that I do think that like a lot of people get lost in the dream, right? And they don't want to put in the time and effort it takes to learn, right?
Or you know what? They join some stupid fucking group and spend $1,500 a month, and really it's just some cult of personality.
What's an example? Is there a group that you like have an example of that where they charge $1,500 a month? Is there a name of a group like that?
I mean, it's nobody going to call it personally, but there are groups that charge you $15 a month to teach you how to grow a 7-figure agency.
Oh, I've heard of those groups
that don't do shit.
It's a fucking cult.
It's a cult of personality. It really is, and that's one thing that I think a lot of people happens. A lot of people is they see these guys who promise you, like I said, you're going to build a 7-figure agency in 5 months by outsourcing everything. You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into agency.
You know what they're going to tell you how to do?
Okay,
they're going to say this. They're going to say, first of all, you need to get a Go High Level account, and you got to get this one package so you can do this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to connect it to a WordPress website, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to sell them on citations, a blog post in this, but then you're going to get them on automations. But then when they get them automations and then they have them on your website and you get the reviews coming in, they're not going to want to leave you, right? So then now you basically got them locked in because they don't want to go somewhere else. It's the same shit. It's like, I can just repeat it. It's like literally, it's the same thing. It's so fucking boring. You know what I mean? It's boring. I've seen that. It doesn't work a bunch of times. Like I've seen that act, right? It's the same act.
It's and unfortunately in our industry in SEO is a big cult of personality. That's what it is. I mean, there's one guy out here who talks about just doing semantic SEO. Just build out your knowledge graphs and build out your silos and shit. And if anybody wants to message me later, I'll tell you who it is, and I will show you the sites that fucking crashed after he worked on them.
I think I know.
And God help anybody who works with them or subscribes to his theories because they're bullshit. That's not how SEO works. Like, I'm sorry. And SEO is this industry is such a cult of personality. It's you can't do it. Like I mean, all these people are just full of shit. Like, you can't do any of that except listen to me, Dimitry, Moon, or Alicia. That's really the only people you should listen to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Present it like they're coming up with some new angle or something, and they make it seem harder than it actually is when in fact
or easier than it actually is. Like I said, these guys who are telling you just build an SEO agency, you don't need to know dick about SEO because you're going to outsource everything, and that is a recipe for failure. And I can tell you firsthand as a white labeler working with these guys. I'm gonna be honest, they might have a 7-figure agency, but they're bringing home $20,000 a year because they can't run it because they're outsourcing everything, right?
Yeah, I think also, I think also that like a lot of businesses will just run without you being there as well, right? So like and it's just a fact. There's a lot of businesses that will run, right? A dentist can run without you doing marketing for them. They'll get patients, they get referrals, they get, amount of patients from, the insurance company, whatever. People move to a new city, they get referred, whatever. Okay. So a lot of businesses, so you could just set up a good website, just be really personable and get 20 of those and just be like, oh dude, I'm a master at SEO. I run a 7-figure agency. Right. But you quickly just kind of lucked out, you haven't really had to sit there and really cut through all the bullshit and actually fix problems and plan ahead, right? So I think a lot of times it's that as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are some businesses that are never going to fail. Like fucking dentists, never going to fail. They will always be around, right?
Yep, absolutely. Let's see if there's George quoted seven-figure agency, unquote. David says, you guys are valuable. We appreciate it. That's the whole point of doing this, is having honest discussions
Right.
about SEO related things, right? So
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. I've been in this industry over 20 years. There's so much bullshit and stuff out there. I just got sick and fucking tired of it.
I think
So many
that's
people.
a lot of people
I mean,
go
it's
through that.
yeah. I mean, it's so many people just peddling these pie in the sky dreams. And honestly, I think it's unethical to tell people that you can just start an SEO agency without knowing anything about SEO. Like that's to me, that's straight up unethical, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
These people lose a lot of money, and
Right.
you just can't. You can't. How do you do that?
Right.
My favorite is when someone runs a SEMrush, like report on the website
Mm-hmm.
to you, and then they say something like, "Oh, well, this happened." Like someone said to me, "Oh, well, what about this? Because this is what this other person said is wrong with the website, right?" And I just laid into this person. I was like, "Do you realize what this is? This is a report from SEMrush. They can't even fix half the shit because that stuff comes from WordPress websites that that can't read JavaScript. The only way that stupid report's going to read perfectly is if you like customly built an HTML website that had no script, like everything's like perfect and it doesn't like it can read everything." And I'm like, so the fact that someone actually uses a report like that as a way and a means of saying, this is what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to fix these problems, that means they don't know how to fix these problems. 100%. That's like me telling you, like, I'm going to go ahead and fix your car, but I'm also going to prevent it from ever getting any wear and tear because I can just,
you know what it's like? It's like when you go buy a new car and they're like, you know what? I'm going to fill your tires with nitrogen for you, completely free, luxury nitrogen. And you're like, motherfucker, air is 80% nitrogen. What the fuck are you talking about? That's exactly what this is.
Yeah, and, well, the only difference is that nitrogen doesn't expand, which is actually so that as the tires get hot, right? You don't get that expansion.
How many of us need that though? Like,
look, I'm just saying, Kyle, you clearly don't know enough about.
Okay.
I just had to get air tires yesterday because of the change in temperature. So
see, there you go. Hey, by the way,
but did you get luxury nitrogen in your tires?
I never actually heard that. I was just making shit up. I didn't know. Is that actually a thing? People actually will put nitrogen in their tires only?
Well, yeah, like yeah, absolutely. Like they tried selling me that when I bought my Jeep in like 2015. I'm like,
no way.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm like, dude, whatever. I don't give a shit. Just sell me a goddamn car.
That's so funny, dude. I didn't even know that was real.
I didn't know it either. I thought you were.
I totally made everything up. By the way.
No, this is a real experience.
Everything I said was I just made everything up. I had no clue what that's.
That is hilarious.
I just did it as an air in mind, but yeah, like the change in seasons when the temperature starts to drop.
Yeah,
your tire pressure alert goes off. Like
you're up in Connecticut though. You actually get seasons. We're down here in Southern California. We have hot and we have slightly less hot, and that's it.
Yes, I was gonna say hot and hotter.
We have like 2 weeks of rain. Yeah.
This time of year you can literally like run your central air during the day and your furnace at night. It'll get to like 75, 80 during the day and then like 50 to 55 at night.
75, 80, that's central air. That's a cool day down here.
No,
we were hitting like 107 a couple weeks ago.
That's just
that was insane.
Yeah.
That was freaking insane.
Yeah.
That hot weather we went through. Are you guys experiencing the same? Like it's cooler in the mornings now, and then the sun comes out like boom, like around 9 o'clock.
I'm experiencing some hot sweats right now because of Alicia's likeness. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
You hear that, Alicia? You're making him all hot and bothered. Your ephemeral form is making Dimitry all hot and bothered.
Yes.
This is why I have to turn my camera off. Otherwise, Dimitry would get nothing accomplished ever.
Yep.
I'm just saying.
Love it.
I'm just saying. You know.
Let's see. Okay, I unplugged from a lot of groups, says David.
What?
He unplugged from a lot of groups, probably realizing that they're BS. Like
David, what's your last name, David? I know a lot of Davids in SEO. Maybe we cross paths.
David Morgan. We have another Morgan here.
David Morgan. I've talked to you a few times on a few different groups. Yeah, unplugged from all the other ones. They're all bullshit. Just join this one. Yeah.
Just join mine and theirs.
Yeah, join Green Hat. Join Green Hat. We talk about more Black Hat, White Hat, or Black Hat, Gray Hat stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff
There
that
you
Moon
go.
is a little wary to dip her toes in. We're getting
I,
there though.
after Google made me upset, now it's my turn to dip into the gray hat, right? Like I'm
Yeah.
coming back to my roots at this point. That's where I started a long,
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Shit.
I
All
mean,
right.
we should talk about how to how to serve different things to different people depending on user agents and stuff like that. Like
Say
that's
that
how you
again.
serve. Like you can serve like different text to users, and then different text to Google depending on Googlebot and shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how you do
now,
like level booking and stuff like that.
that would be cool. We should write that down and come back to it for sure.
Yeah.
Let's do another one in a couple weeks.
Well, you know what? Why don't we save this for our group? Why don't we save this for the paid group?
Are you gonna? Oh, the paid group. Oh my goodness, I haven't made the
Yeah.
announcement yet, but yeah,
Testing.
let's get specific with things. And
Sorry, like I said, I'm a little drunk. I literally not even. It literally today has all been about closing deals and shit for me today. So I'm
are you on
celebrating
an
a little
empty
bit.
stomach?
I definitely am. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody like be ready to get Kyle's credit card information and all that shit in about half an hour. Okay.
About
Half an hour.
Yeah, he's like, I'm ready now.
Once
All
once
right.
the shirt comes off, that's when things get really exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should start your lunch like 20-30 minutes before we go on live, so you're just ready to roll right then and there.
Next time, invite me again. Next time.
Okay. I'm
Speaking
down
of,
for
I got,
it.
you know what? We were talking about doing an SEO meetup, right? Down in San Diego. I got like 2 other people who are interested. We need to get this happening.
Oh, let's
But
get serious.
here's the problem: we're not going to be talking about SEO.
No, we're just
Right.
gonna be bullshitting
We're
and
going to meet
stuff.
up. We're going to be having some fun.
We're
But
gonna,
but
yeah,
that yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
Or
talk to some
I guess
people
we
who
can
do.
talk about SEO, maybe.
Well, in a roundabout way, we'll get some pizza and be like, you know how pizza's like SEO? I don't know yet, but I'm gonna come up with something.
we can talk about anchor text distribution on links and stuff like.
Oh, that's right. Well, yeah, there you go.
Right.
whatever.
You notice how, like this one piece slice only has 3 pepperoni. This other one only has 1.
Yeah.
How are we going to distribute the pepperoni amongst
There
the
we
2
go.
slices?
And
That's
this
a
is how
great
you do paid.
question.
This is paid rent.
I
Yeah.
love it. Oh my god, you guys are so silly. I love
I
it.
think that's what we need to do, man.
I
Let's
think
do it.
pepperoni SEO has potential. The domain right
Somebody
now.
should register pepperoniseo.com. Is that what you're doing, Alicia?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's a really good idea.
it's a really
Well,
good idea.
We started with the bidets, and now we have what, SEO pizza,
Now we have pepperoni SEO.
pepperoni SEO. It does sound delicious, I have to say.
It's catchy.
SEO done correctly is delicious. Yes, I will agree.
Yep.
Yep.
David Morgan says pepperoni rank engine. That has a nice.
Ooh, I like
Pepperoni
that.
rank
I
engine.
like that.
Yep.
Hey, is,
Pepperoni powered rankings.
What is David is Morgan like to talk about in the SEO world? David Morgan, come on, man, throw something.
Yeah,
at
throw
us.
some questions at us. Somebody give us some hard questions.
Like,
We're always
please
up for
say
questions.
something.
Yeah, feel free to drop us a few questions. In the
Yeah, like I
meantime,
think
Well,
I've talked to
what
him
happened last
in
time?
no,
Kyle.
I think I've talked to him in the Yaks group about cloud staffing
Kyle,
and shit.
like,
oh,
Ask
we
him
were
cool.
about cloud
supposed to work
stacks.
on someone's like GBP. No one came to us and said, "Work on my GBP."
There were
Yeah, there
comments.
were, and then I got drunk and forgot about it. And
No,
now I'm being reminded.
What I'll do is I'll set up a group conversation between us because there were like a handful of people who expressed that they wanted help. So
Oh,
let's figure that out. Like,
yeah, because then
into
that
next
would be
week.
fun. Like, I want to break something down and have some fun. Like, that's what I want to do. Let's
You
do
wanna-
that.
Hell yeah, dude! Fucking that core video you did in the Green Hat group, like just breaking it down and talking
you
about
like that?
here's what that was a. Okay, if so, anybody watching, like, if you want to learn about Cora in the Green, Moon, I hope you don't mind me bumping Green Hat, but in our Green Hat group, like, Dimitry threw up a Cora video and just like the things that you need to know to use Cora to rank your clients or to rank your own websites.
Yeah, I
right?
saw that. That was actually pretty good. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah, because I learned Cora from Kyle. I'll never go away. Like, it's the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Right.
But that's
Yeah,
like
and
that's kind of what I'm talking about, man. Like, we, I would love to just get something, like get on a topic.
right. Like, so, I mean, we were talking about earlier, Dimitri, like how the algorithm completely changed. Like now it's all about branding and shit. Like there's a big knowledge graph update. And
Yeah.
all the sites that we saw that got hit were ones that didn't have their branding and shit.
Right.
And I remember, like I told you, like with the tests and stuff that I'm running, like with the way people are using cloud stacks and shit right now is not going to work anymore, which is why we need to redo our SOPs for this. One of the things that huge things that happened over the past 2 months, really it started with the August 28th update, is that Google is moving away from links as a means to point link juice and page rank to your site. Like it's so important, don't get me wrong, but more of like brand and entity recognition and shit, right? Like mark my words, in 2025, unlinked brand mentions are going to be a top 4 ranking factor. I'm not joking.
Unlinked.
It's unlinked brand mentions
Okay.
is going to be a top 4 ranking factor, and that's what we're seeing right now. This is one of the reasons why SEO Neo is so powerful, because we are doing unlinked brand mentions with RDF triples in these SEO Neo runs. We're getting hundreds or thousands of instances in this. We're getting them all crawled. We're getting the NAP in there. We're getting the map embeds in there, and our shit is popping. Like literally,
Okay,
like we
let's
had.
slow it down. So when you say unlinked brand mentions, you mean somebody mentions your brand name, your company's name or whatever, but they
No,
haven't.
you're looking at RDF triples. What you're doing is subject, predicate, object, right? And this is where all these semantic bullshit SEOs get this fucking wrong, and it pisses me off because they're selling a bill of expired goods. When you look at this, you're looking at X does Y, right? You're looking
Okay.
at XYZ plumber. XYZ brand is a plumber in Los Angeles. There's your RDF triple, right? This is
Okay.
what Google is specifically looking for, right?
Okay.
So what you do is you get these in your cloud stacks. And this is why people say Google stacks don't work anymore. And God bless them for it, because we were fucking killing it with Google stacks, right? It's not so much about, oh, Google stacks aren't pushing all the power they used to. It's like, no, you just got to use them differently now, because what's happening is you're putting these triples in there. You're putting these brand mentions. You're specifically like injecting into Google. This is what your brand does. This is where your brand offers those services in these super high trust and high authority properties, right? Fucking Google stacks. I mean, Google Docs are ranking in the SERPs. You can use a string of Google Docs as your tier 2s to your tier 1 and fucking kill it. I'm not even joking. So when you use SEO Neo, you get your triples in there. You say XYZ brand is a plumber in Los Angeles. All of a sudden you have that. You have your NAP. You have your map embed.
Right.
And you blast that out. Yeah, you're going to have the links in there, which are going to be branded anchor text, but that is what's going to push it. Like, I have evidence to where you don't even need content in your backlinks, and it'll push your maps rankings up. I'm going to make a post about that probably tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have those triples in there, you have the brand mentions, you have the NAP, you have the map embed. That's what Google's looking for, right? That's what SEO is now. So all these dickheads trying to tell you, oh, you need high DA links, you need high DR links. Fuck you. You know what? You don't need any of that shit. Just get some PBNs. You get SEO Neo. Get some cloud. Oh, cloud stacks don't work because they don't fucking index. Like, what the fuck out of SEO? You know what? You know what you're doing. Like, just get that shit in there. Get those like trusted mentions and shit, and your shit's gonna pop. Like, I'm not even joking. This is what SEO is now post August update.
Very nice. Damn. Yeah. You rolled right through it.
And let me just throw something out there. I started working with Kyle a little bit over a year ago now, actually. And back then he went off like on a similar rant, just like this. And man, motherfucker said Reddit. And guess what? Reddit popped. And he was just like Reddit. So at the time he was taking Reddit and using it to like get shit done.
Still are.
And then once Reddit kind of like it did pop, not only did it pop, but then it also now like sided with Google, and they kind of switched their things around, so it's harder to like.
I called it,
right? But it's exactly what he said.
Google or Reddit is blocking Bing from crawling its threads and shit. Like, this is shit that I called a year ago. Like, honestly, So Reddit is blocking Bing from crawling. Reddit.com. Yeah.
Interesting.
This is
Okay.
called a year ago. Like, and
Yep.
this is like keep telling people who like George and shit, like who I talked to and shit, like we are consistently 6 months to a year ahead of what everybody else is doing right now.
That's
Right?
killer. That is killer.
I'm not even joking. And like I said in Facebook, like there are over 670 subdomains that you can manipulate and with Reddit. And if you're not doing that, well, I mean, again, God bless you for it, because I am, and our clients are. It's working for us.
So let's talk about that. Let's slow it down and talk about how you can use Reddit for
So much
local
time
SEO.
I'm gonna need another bottle. Like I killed one today.
Oh my god, you're killing it! You're killing it with the SEO.
Really,
You're killing it with the drinks.
This is really just a debilitating chemical addiction. So yeah.
Hey, I mean, the good news is that like there's a lot of people that have done it for a long time. For some reason, some people, they just can handle it, man.
There are a lot of people who've been doing it for a long time and still suck at it.
Yeah.
At drinking or which part?
Yeah, which one?
Oh, we're talking about drinking? Yeah. Oh, I got this down to a science. Like I said, my life is
there's a lot of people that can drink and they it's like they're fine.
Yeah.
I know this one guy, he had pneumonia recently, and he said while he was had pneumonia, he was smoking cigarettes still. And he goes, hey, once I tried to quit smoking during pneumonia, my things got worse. So, like whatever. And so the thing is that dude will probably be fine smoking cigarettes the rest of his life. It's just,
and you know what? Funny. I don't get pneumonia because if I make my body as inhospitable as possible to like bacteria and shit, like nothing can phase me. Like if you maintain like a consistent like 0.12, you don't get sick because all the bacteria just dies.
Do you remember when I first started working with you, or before we started working together, and you were trying to flex on me, and you said something like, that's like, was it so 2019 or so 2021? Which one was it?
Something like that, yeah.
It was fucking funny, man. He goes, I was like, yeah, so blah, 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 blah. He's like, listen, that worked. Like, that's so let's just say 2019. I'm like, what, motherfucker? Like,
this guy right here.
It was funny. It was funny. Yeah. But here's the thing. Like it was the only, like he's the only person I've ever come across that I felt like, oh shit, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to have to let go. This dude knows more than me.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. Yeah. And all these groups and shit and all these YouTube personalities and stuff that people follow, like they're advertising their SEO strategies because they don't work anymore. Yeah. The real strategies are in groups and private groups and shit.
Yeah.
The thing is though, like the newbies, they don't know what they don't know. They go to YouTube, they watch Neil Patel from 10 years ago and think that they're gurus now. Or, one person says something in a group and other people read the comment assuming it's true and they just start reiterating that.
A perfect example. Sorry, go ahead.
My quote about SEO is that it's like 2% innovation, 2% innovation, 98% regurgitation.
100%, yeah.
98% that they're regurgitating is usually bullshit.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. But a perfect example is actually Moon in your group today, where that one guy posted that video. It's like, oh man, this is the greatest video I've ever seen. And that dude lost me and was like, oh, you need to have NAP consistently across all your citations. And I'm like, what the fuck? Is this 2014? Like seriously, that's where you lost me.
Yeah.
You know like what? Just though I listened to the SEO Jesus, because let me tell you, that guy. That guy's badass. I got to tell you, I'm not joking. I think that's the funniest thing ever. You ever see Dogma? Did you ever see Dogma? There's a Buddy Christ. I mean,
yeah, of course.
I'm just saying, like that shit is bad. Like it's fucking hilarious. Like, what's your name? The SEO Jesus. Like, dude, please. I love that. Like, I love that.
He's doing parasite shit that worked back in 2020. Like, it's all stuff.
But it's still like, honestly, his shtick is the best. Like.
And he's a great marketer of himself.
That's
he's
what I'm
not
saying.
Doing anything in the
like, that guy's badass. Like I mean, I just think it's funny. I actually watched his video. I just wanted to be like, is he gonna like pull some like Messiah, walking on water? Like, is he gonna be like, is he gonna like somehow like turn some sort of thing to like from like whatever? I'm just saying, SEO Jesus, man.
Did you ever buy a gig from Fiverr Jesus?
Who?
Fiverr Jesus.
No.
So when I was doing drop shipping and shit, I would hire this guy Fiverr Jesus, who literally like
Get out of here.
I'm not even
Fiverr
joking.
Jesus.
He had this whole shtick where he was Jesus, and he would promote my shitty drop shipping stuff from like Alibaba and shit.
That
It was
is
amazing. I had
hilarious.
Jesus on my side.
You know what though? Like, I think when you asked him like what he does for Reddit, but honestly, like, here's the thing. Okay, it's
Well, hey,
not.
why are we doing to keep this for the group?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not something that he would share. However, I will say one thing. Okay,
Say it.
it's kind of fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
It's always badass.
No, I'm serious.
Do you want to give a high level overview, Kyle?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly. I'll tell you from my version. Okay, I'll
Okay.
use my own vernacular. So what you do is you create an account, and then in that account you create links, and then you like create links within that account, and then you just get ranked.
That's it. That's it.
Okay.
And like
fair
I said,
enough.
like you have 670 subdomains that you can manipulate to get what you want.
Now I hadn't realized that, so when you made a post about that, I was like, "That's pretty fucking crazy."
Not a whole lot of people know about that.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Alicia, do you use any backlinking techniques like this, like, or you're just focused on page, like I've done for most of my career?
Really just on page content. I don't get too involved with the backlinking outside of citations.
Come
Yeah.
to the dark side. Come join us.
Come on in. Come on in.
Come join us.
Lure her,
But you know, I
back.
have seen you honestly. Like I've seen your sites and shit, and like the internal linking is on point. I gotta say, like
To
it
me,
is
like,
impressive.
content and internal linking, like, I mean, not like super competitive niches in heavy metro areas, but I'll even say intermediate competitive in moderately dense areas. You can rank and just slay it without backlinks or with minimal backlinks. Just, I get the marketer center, the big citations, and the 40 pack of hyper local, and that's about as far as I go with backlinks.
Alicia, why don't you give us some tips on internal linking? Since Kyle said you're freaking on point. Let's go.
Yeah, bring it, Alicia. Come on.
Yeah.
All right, so I kind of think of it like two-pronged approach. You have your internal linking strategy for Google, and then you have your internal linking strategy for viewers. For viewers, you want your internal links to shepherd them to the action you want them to take. So your typical viewer is normally going to land on the homepage more often than not. So you need a link to the service that they're looking for. From the service that they're looking for, you need a simple link to a call to action. So get them there with the least number of clicks. Nobody wants to go on a scavenger hunt to figure out like what you do or how to reach you.
Yeah.
Right.
For Google's sake, the anchor text that you use actually carries more weight than the entire page worth of content. So I actually use exact match keyword as an anchor text to that page.
Dimitry, that's in our recipes, isn't it? Yeah.
So
just hammer that EMQ.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if it's a page about garage door repairs in Indianapolis, then my anchor text is garage door repairs in Indianapolis, and it's linking back to itself. I try to keep my internal links on a service page to between like 2 and 4, no more than that. So there's automatically the one that links back to itself.
Yeah.
If it's a location page, there's going to be a link back to the top level service page. So garage door repair Indianapolis would link back to garage door repair.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a location page, then it's going to be like a sub-service back to a parent service. So like bathroom plumbing would link back to or toilet
garage door repair.
Yeah, toilet repairs would link back to bathroom plumbing.
Right.
So you're
Obviously, that makes sense.
yeah, so you're giving Google that context of, this page is about toilet repairs, which is part of bathroom and plumbing, which then links back to home because this is a plumber. So you're building out that, topical relevance, and just really hammering home that what that service is and the geo on it as well. And that's about it for service pages.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously always a call to action. Should be a link as well. Clickable telephone and something for the contact us page.
Well,
Yeah,
what's funny? Oh, God.
Do you use Link Whisper for any of this?
I use no tools at all. This is just in my head.
Man, you just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't use a cell phone, but I'm like Rain Man when it comes to on page.
What's funny is I set up Link Whisperer for this one guy who was supposed to be like this SEO expert that we hired, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's the best." And I was like, "Okay, great." And coming back to it, he was linking to the pages that had nothing to do with those. Like it just the dumbest link, words that had no sense, nothing made sense. So, it kind of highlights that point we made before about not trusting people, So that's why, like the, SOP ahead of time, like you give it to the writer already, like linked, like each page needs to be linked in the document before you post it. But yeah.
Yep.
I worked on a lawyer site, my lawyer from hell. Oh my God.
Oh, is this the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
how's his rankings doing? I'm just curious.
I haven't looked lately.
Oh,
but,
Yeah, I haven't done any more runs, so I don't know. Yeah, I forgot to put it into Google Calendar, which is another trick that we'll talk about in the private group, how to use Google Calendars and shit. But we'll say that for the private group.
His site was a little over 200 pages, and he had like 26,000 internal links.
Jesus
shit!
Christ.
What the fuck was he doing?
There was absolutely no strategy at all. Like the would be an anchor text, and it would go to some completely random ass page.
Oh yeah, that's ridiculous.
And spending tens of thousands of dollars on backlinks, and I'm like, well, of course you are, because you're buying this backlink that's coming in with freaking fire hydrant, and then it hits that page and you're dripping it out in an eyedropper because you got 200 internal links that are to absolute bullshit. Like you've diluted the hell out of every backlink that you're spending on.
You know what? That's like, Alicia, that's like one of the best analogies. I'm gonna use that. I love that analogy. No, that's like that's actually such a cool fucking analogy. I love that. A fire hydrant to an eyedropper. Like no, I'm serious.
That is a good one.
No, that's actually fucking. Can I use that?
Feel free.
No, I'm serious. Okay, I'm gonna make a video, but I'm gonna reference you in that video because I never anytime someone says, "Oh, you did a fantastic job," I just give whoever I learned it from credit. Yep, that's all Kyle.
So you know what? I talked to this ineffable void of SEO, who is all things in all places. She goes by the human name Alicia Hughes. She gave me her information.
I put my black box when you pay homage to me.
Yeah. The way I always explained internal linking to people is you have your bucket, right? You fill it up with water, right?
Yeah.
But you have this other bucket you want to fill up with PageRank. So you put a hole in one side of the bucket and you put the other bucket below it. And all of a sudden, all the backlinks you're putting in the top bucket, all the water flows from that bucket to the one below it.
Yeah.
The more holes you poke in that bucket, right, the harder it is to fill up that top bucket with PageRank. Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know. I've had client sites where a regular service page or a location page, they'll have 30 internal links in it, and I'm like, how did you even manage to do that? A handful, okay, makes sense, maybe 2 to 3. But I don't know how people find the energy to come up with 30 to 40 internal links.
No idea.
From a page.
It's hard because I'll run a core report and it's like you need 129 more internal links. And I'm like, great. Does that mean I have to create a bunch of mass pages? But if I bake those mass pages incorrectly, then am I because then they're not going to work necessarily, right?
Right.
So I think that's also like an easy thing. That's one of the things I've been like the most lazy about. So I have never, I don't know, it's so time consuming, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I need to fix most of my old client sites, because I was just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, that one and message in Slack, like, Kyle, yeah, for this dentist, like, everything's popping for you and shit, right? Like, this is like 2 weeks ago or whatever. Like, one of the things I did was I installed Link Whisper, and for their main keyword that the page was optimized for, I literally did 100 exact match anchor text, because it was a mass page site. I literally did 100 exact match anchor text to that page, and it popped.
Yep.
Because I had all those exact match anchor text internal links. Like,
Yeah.
there's a trend I hear now where people are like, oh, you got to optimize your internal linking and you got to use it natural and all this. It's like, no, you don't. You seriously don't. Internal linking can take a beating. Just do it with exact match anchor text.
Yep.
Don't overcomplicate it. Use Link Whisper. Get that exact match anchor text internal link over to your money pages. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
And then when your page is ranked, you stop internal linking to it.
See, that's a question for you, Kyle. Like, so for the plastic surgeon, if I need, let's say, 129 internal links, or it was 159, do I, you know, for that exact match keyword, like, I mean, would it be foolish of me to then just create a bunch of mass pages?
Well, it depends on how you run the core report too. If you're doing max, average, 1.5 standard deviations, like, it really depends. If you're doing max, it's 129. You might be able to get away with like 50, right?
So if you run the deviations, okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
So I always start with 1.5 standard deviations when I do a core run, optimize it for that. And if it's still not popping, like if it's still not where we're in like top 4, top 5 to where you can get that extra boost of backlinks, then I'll run it again, do max, and then do max. And then it should get to that point to where then you can start shooting over like SEO Neo and shit over to it.
Interesting.
Alicia, do you use any tools like Quora?
No.
So how do you optimize pages and stuff?
She is the ineffable Black Void Moon. She does not need any of our human tools.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I don't have mortal tools.
Do you just eyeball what other sites in the top 3 are doing and kind of imitate that, or just you have your own set of rules that you follow?
A little bit of both. Because sometimes I have found where like the top competitors might be a little bit too over optimized for my taste.
Right.
I tend to err on
But what is over optimized? If they're still ranking, then they're not over optimized. That's just what you have to benchmark things against, right?
Yeah, but they're probably not going to be very future proofed either. So
Okay.
like I'll err on the conservative side, and then if they're still beating me in 30 days, then I'll go in a little more heavy handed and add more in.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
So this is the challenging part that I find in my head, is that I've seen what can happen with an update with over optimized sites. So I tend not to necessarily like what I gauge to be over optimization, right? But then that's what's ranking as well, right? Like what you said, Kyle. So like I battle with that a lot in my head, because hey, as Google's showing you exactly what's working in the top, but then I've also seen those same sites in the top drop out of the top 100 in an extreme way.
You know what? You're exactly right. Like, as a good example, like I wrote in the group, like I sent a press release, which is like 500 different links and stuff, and I accidentally switched 2 of my anchor text. So then all of a sudden I had like 500 exact match anchor text going to my money page, and I'll show you the Search Console later. But we were like ranking on the first page, and then you see where all those things are indexed, and then it literally was de-indexed.
Oh shit!
Because I hadn't built any other links, I hadn't done any branding and stuff, but all of a sudden I have 500 exact match links going to that page, which way over optimized the anchor text for that page.
Yeah.
And it just was de-indexed. So now I'm like, okay, I got to do SEO Neo. I got to run contextual to advanced to the homepage. I got to run DAS to that money page.
Right.
I just got 350 citations, like just to get the branding and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess there is a point to where you can over optimize, but at the same time, if your client or if your client's competitor is ranking where you want to be, like top 3 or in the map pack or whatever, then
Yeah.
they're not over optimized. That is the new benchmark that Google has set for optimization.
Yep.
I still struggle with it. What are your thoughts on this, Alicia?
Yeah, I'm right
I
back.
see
I'm
that they
drinking way
have
too much.
staying power because, like, there could have just been new content that was added where, you know, Google's giving them the 2 to 4 week Google dance. You know, if number one is what I would consider to be like extremely over optimized, then I'm looking at 2 and 3. You know,
Yeah.
is there a huge disparity between them? Or are all of the top 3 what I would consider to be over optimized? If all 3 are over optimized, then that's the benchmark.
Well, let's talk about what does over optimization mean to us. What do you define as over optimized on a content page?
The first test I would give it is, does it read naturally or does it sound way too contrived? You know, is it too stuffed? And Dimitry, feel free to use this quote too. Does it sound like it was written by the love child of Dr. Seuss and Yoda? If so, it's over optimized.
Okay, fair enough. By natural, do you mean if the keyword is stuffed in every header and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair, yeah, that's what I kind of look for too. And if the keyword is just stuffed, you know what I mean? Like you said, it just doesn't read natural to a human being.
I want to see the exact match, like in the permalink, in the H1, and then in one H2. And then the rest of the titles, I want to see variations, deviations, you know, synonyms, or, you know, even stuff that's just topically relevant to that page, but not necessarily containing the keyword. Anything more than that, like, unless the top 3 are showing me otherwise, to me, it's a little bit overdone. And I don't see, like, ridiculous permalinks.
Right. I've also seen cases where, like, let's say in the top 3, you know, 2 of them are using the keyword, let's say like 8 to 10 times or some shit like that. And then there's one outlier that is using it like, I don't know, 25 times. Right? So I'm like,
well,
okay,
then then you know that that's what you can use. And still rank. Like
I got something to say here because, you know, just something that's been pissing me off for a long time. You know, there's just some things that thanks. There's some things that I don't there's just some things that, like, I don't understand, right? But the one thing I do understand is that, like, I don't feel like there's any consistency with that top one, like you're talking about, Alicia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I find that a lot of times there isn't, like, this consistent, like, you know, 100% whatever. What I will say though is that what I've learned is that by optimizing it, meaning like running a core report and just throwing a bunch of words in there, and it works and it ranks. And it's because it's like that update or that leak that Google did, right? It's like like the search engine still isn't that smart, right? It's still just still a computer program that identifies certain things. And so I had a client who, when I first met Kyle, we lost 50% of her rankings, like literally, right, during that September update, right, in 2023 or whatever it was, July, whatever it was in 2023, right? Just fucking 50%, boom, hit. And every single update since, because I've been doing it the Kyle way, hasn't lost that. Like, we're still climbing, but it hasn't dropped. So yeah, I think that there's you know, plenty of room to over optimize.
I don't believe in over optimization. I don't believe in over optimization. I'm going to put it out there.
So you don't believe? Okay, let me ask this question. We're all going to answer it, Alicia. So let's just give that scenario again. In the top 3, there's a couple. 2 of the sites use it 8 to 10 or 12 times, and one site uses it 25 times. What kind of keyword density would you keep in that case?
I would start out with the 8 to 10.
Okay.
Give it a minute to index and see where I am. And then if I need to go hit it harder, I would.
Okay, fair enough. And what about you, Kyle?
5%, do tests. If you do single variable tests, every single time the 5% keyword density will rank first.
5%?
Do a test. I think
Okay.
the only way that you can over optimize is with exact match anchor text backlinks.
Backlinks. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about you, Dimitri?
I've learned it all from Kyle, so I don't know shit. I just kind of follow whatever he says. I'm going to be quite honest, because it's like it's something that I didn't know how to do, but like what I've learned in that process, right, is really it goes against everything we were told, right, everything, and that's why like I'll take a giant shit on SEMrush and Ahrefs and all those, you know, those types of like, you know, oh, our keyword has the best analysis, this, and that. You know, for me, as lame as this may sound, because I don't want to make Kyle's head any bigger, you know, but
I already
it was
can't fit
like
those hats that Shannon sent us.
yeah, no, really. But it was like the great awakening for me. You know what I mean? And it was just like me realizing like, oh, I've been really just sort of living in this dark sort of, you know, cloud for a long time. You know, and ironically though, the good news is that it's good because I taught myself how to do Facebook ads and Google ads, and that's how I was able to keep clients. So
Yeah.
like obviously, you know, that helped me sort of, and that's what got me sort of like, that's my area that's why we work so well together, right? So yeah, no, everything I've learned, the answer is whatever Kyle says.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
can't do PPC like Dimitri does, in all honesty. And you
That-
know what?
that's
That's how we close one of the clients today, because you know, they were all ready to do SEO. I'm like, you know, we do
But that's
PPC and stuff. I'm
yeah,
like, you
that's
know what?
complimentary.
Yeah, I said Dimitri.
Yeah.
Dimitri is literally the best PPC guy I've worked with. Like, let us do your PPC
Yeah.
for you. And because
Well,
they already trusted me on SEO, they're like, okay, we'll try
Right.
Dimitri. Yeah.
cool. With the question in particular, I would follow what Alicia is saying. That's what I would do. Use it 8 to 10 times. Make sure my internal linking is on point. See what the SERP, how it ranks, right? And then see if it needs to be pushed a little more with keyword density.
Mhm.
But I tend to stay away from the outlier.
Now,
Because
is
I've
it 8
seen
times per 100 words, per 200 words, per 500
just
words? Like, what is that?
just in general, like let's just say that in the top 3, like I observed that the article in itself has used like page 1 in itself has used like the keyword just 8 to 10 times, right?
Now, what
Like,
if they're using hidden content like what we do, and all of a sudden you got your keyword stuff to 7, 8, 9, 10%?
then I would know that you fucking ranked it.
I mean,
That's what I would know for sure. Now that's
Yeah.
an interesting observation, of course.
Yeah,
Um,
and then like you know what, I can show you pages that ranked with no content but with schema. So then, how do you know they're not putting their keywords and entities and shit into the schema? Because Google reads that. And what if they had an iframe that was 12 pixels by 12 pixels? Again, Google reads iframe as part of that page. But 12 pixels by 12 pixels is the smallest that Google will read, and you're not going to be able to see that unless you literally hover over that square. So somebody could
Right.
be stuffing keywords that way, which is why I said like 8 to 10 doesn't mean anything. I'm not
Right.
trying to blow you up here or anything. I'm just trying to tell you like this is the gray hat, black hat shit that like people like I do to rank over white hats who just follow whatever the fuck Neil Patel tells them.
Well, that's why I struggle with it too, because I've literally seen, sites that were making thousands of dollars in the top, right? And then Google update came and wiped it the fuck out of the top 100, right?
But what
So
was
it's
that
kind of
update? Like, you know what, our sites, like, we have fucking hidden content, we keyword stuff schema, like I've keyword stuff fucking div tags and shit. But what Google's looking at, if you have the branding, if you have those unlinked brand mentions, if you have those RDF
Right.
triples in your SEO Neo runs and your cloud stacks, your Google stacks, shit like that, if you get referral traffic is huge. If you get referral traffic from social media, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's like I said earlier in your group, like you can bump up to 60% keyword density, but as long as you have everything else on point, you're gonna rank.
Right.
Which
So
I have
you're
literally done. That's how
okay.
SEO is now. And this is where a lot of people getting into it are going to fail. I'm putting it out there because they're watching all these SEOs on YouTube and shit who are talking about stuff that worked back in 2020, 2021, 2022. It's a completely different game, right? Like you need to look at all this stuff now if you truly want to be a good SEO and want to rank.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Alicia, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, I'm not opposed to gray hat and black hat when needed. I think there's definitely room for that too.
Yeah.
But I do tend to try to do things, more towards the white end initially. And then if I do go to the dark side, I'm pretty transparent with the client about it, make certain that I have their buy-in.
But like what? Like we don't ask for buy-in from our clients. We just do shit that works and makes them money. That's why we call it green hat SEO. Like we would never do something that would harm a client's GBP or harm a client's site because then we're not making money either.
Yeah.
Right? And let's think about who really is important here. Me and my bank account. Right? So if I'm hurting our client, they're not going to pay me, which is going to fuck me over, which is why we call it green hat.
And I want to throw this out there too, Kyle. Sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. But this is where I have to assert myself now, Kyle, because I think I've given you way too much credit. No, when I first started working with Kyle, right, there was this one particular white hat company that was really annoying. And specifically, they were like working with lawyers and stuff. And one of the lawyers kept complaining, like, this is not a press release. Who the fuck do you think you guys are? You guys are just for shit, right? So then we just started writing non-branded press releases that were sending links to their site and not giving it to them, just fucking posting it. Like fuck you. We'll just circumvent you because you're obviously you don't get it, right? No one is reading that dumb press release. Like no one's gonna read it. Like you think someone's actually gonna read it? No. So we would just do some random stuff that had nothing to do with them. There's nothing branded, and I just didn't even bother telling them. We just gave it to them later. And no. I mean, why? Why waste your time? It's like this dentist that I have right now that asking all these like, oh well, why would you put this? Why would you put that? Like, do you want to fucking rank?
I hear you. I hear you on the ranking part. Alicia, keep going with your thoughts here. I want to hear like all kinds of opinions from all kinds of SEOs here.
We should get some white hats on here and just fucking destroy them.
I wouldn't even consider that to be like unethical or black hat or anything. Just unbranded press release. That's just doing what you need to do and taking the path of least resistance because some clients can be a pain in the ass and they can be their own worst enemy. So sometimes you do have to circumvent them.
I have an analogy I would like to share.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite analogies, okay? There was this one class I took. It was about fascism, okay? And it was taught by this Italian guy, and I forgot his name. But it was a true story, and it was fucking great. So after the Italians during World War II, okay, after they kind of lost a lot of power, but they still hadn't pulled out of the war, right? There was this one town where all of these fascist leaders were getting shot and killed by people on bicycles, okay? All right? And, people riding a bike, they'd come up, they would shoot somebody in the head, and they would just sort of blend into the crowd, right? And they set up roadblocks. The Italian police said roadblocks, this, that. They tried everything, and they still couldn't figure out what was wrong, right? The assassinations were still happening, right? And so then they asked the Nazis to come in, and help them out. And the Nazis stopped it in one day because they just said anyone on a bicycle would be shot. And the problem was solved, right? And I love that analogy because it's like so simple. It's like, oh, you mean like that just stopped the problem. But then you did eliminate people with the bicycles. And how does that analogy fit in my head? It just says this. It's like, I just don't want to deal with the bullshit, right? I don't want to have to explain to the client about this article and this and that. Like, what do you want? And if you really want to do it, if you really want to have some good quality content, great, but nobody fucking cares. And nobody fucking reads that shit anyway. They look at pictures. They look at bullet points, right? That's it. That's all people do. They fucking skim, yep. And they see a picture and skim, yep. The only time they actually read shit is if I'm reading a recipe, because I need to fucking read the recipe. Make sure that you only put it in for 25 minutes and you read it 5 times because you want to make sure you get it right. If I'm trying to fix my car, right? If I'm trying to fix my car, like I'm going to read, okay, so I need to do this and what I do that. If I'm not going to read something 5 times about dental implants, I'm just going to fucking make the call.
I hear
100%.
you.
100%.
With press
And
releases,
that's green hat.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Green.
Alicia.
with press releases, I always tell clients like there's two entirely different kinds. There's the kind that is not meant for human eyes to see; it's exclusively for backlinks. And then there's, the more expensive ones that are going to legitimate news sources that you really do want humans to read. You're getting the one that human eyes are ever going to see that's just for backlinks.
And you know
Mhm.
what's really sad? I'm going to tell you right now, Alicia, you're 100% right. I'm not discounting that, but I made the mistake of convincing two sets of clients at one point. I'm like, you know what? We're going to get some legitimate press releases, okay? Legitimate, okay? Fucking PR Newswire, spending like 12 grand a year, okay? We're talking the cream of the crop new press releases, right? And we got some really great topics and really great things. And then I even paid for that fucking Cision software, and I was reaching out to all the journalists with this amazing fucking thing. And guess who wrote me back? Nobody. They don't give a fuck.
Doesn't work.
No, I get the like $29 ones.
Legitimately good topic, like legitimately good shit. Nobody cares. But you know what they care? If it's a plastic surgeon, Dr. Miami, that motherfucker could put up you just got women that are half naked, booties out there, and he's getting everything. Dr. Miami, I'm telling you.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you.
I'm a big fan. I gotta say.
Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares.
I
So
care
I'm
about certain parts of
People that
it.
care
on my
are
lawyer
the people themselves.
Wait, hold on. Say that again, Alicia.
Well, lawyers are different because lawyers have such tight regulations and stuff about what they can say.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, but we have enough like with the client that Dimitry was talking about. This is again back when we were white labeling for people who were promised how to build a 7-figure agency. And this agency, we'll call them 7 silver guidelines, right? Who specialize in PI lawyer bullshit. This is what they're telling them. We're gonna get these PRs and we see my 10,000 fucking other people. And you know what? They paid, I think it was $5 grand for a PR on USA Today. And you know what? They were on that PR with 3 other agencies, and they were the very last one there. You think they got any SEO juice out of there? You think anybody clicked on that? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And these $29 PRs, Alicia, is that from cloudpr.com?
Marketer Center.
Oh, okay. Well, if you buy them through bulk to the Marketer Center, but yeah, Marketer Center is another one of those that's I would think twice about them.
I'm just saying that I don't really feel like having a conversation you know what it is the clients that complain the most are the ones that don't really want to pay for the marketing anyway, right? They want to just talk about this and that,
right?
And they think that people are reading stuff on their website. I've shown evidence to certain clients. I'm like, you think people are going to your website? I literally have call rails. I'm running Google ads for you. Every single one of your fucking phone calls is a direct fucking, meaning they find the name of the office, they go in there, and then they call because they do it on the phone. They're not doing because they know the name of the office. They're not finding it through organic reasons. So why do you care? And it's having that conversation, right? That then really, really infuriates me. It's like having a conversation with a flat earther. That's how I feel that most white. I'm serious. I feel like most white hat / client / people, and they sit there and talk about this sort of ethos and this, this.
That is amazing. No, Dimitri, that is fucking amazing. They're flat.
I'm gonna fucking make a video about that. Wait, Alicia, you didn't get. I'm the one who earned that one. Okay, Alicia,
Duke it out with him, Alicia.
That's it. Yeah, no, it's like talking to a bunch of flat earthers. It's like, really, you're really gonna go with that? Like, really?
That's exactly right. That is awesome. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Say that again, Alicia.
Never even have discussions about deliverables with clients because I'm not about the deliverables. I'm about their phone ringing and their ROI.
And you know what? That's what I got sick of. That's why we started the Green Hat. We don't give reports. You want reports? You want your rankings? Fuck you. Here's a client portal. Go look at them yourself. Are your phone calls going up? Are your leads going up? Cool. And that's what you hired us for. Now fuck off. Let's do our job. We don't go down to your corner, slap the dick out of your mouth, and tell you to do your job, do we?
Right?
No.
Right.
No, get out of our face and let us do what we do best.
Yeah. No, there was a like I had a conversation recently with Kyle, and I was like, "Hey, man, maybe we just need to start doing some basic deliverables because I'm just tired of hearing this shit." And I think it really comes back down to that original conversation we had about why we don't want to work with white label people. It's because they're so fucking stupid. And if they heard me talking right now and they were like, "Were you talking about me?" I would say, honestly, you really are fucking stupid. Like, you're so fucking stupid, and I'm going to tell you why you're so fucking stupid. Okay, it's not because I know more than you. It's because you're so arrogant that you think that you're right all the time. Like, like I'm not. I love to be right all the time, right? Isn't that kind of like human emotion? Like, isn't that just human nature?
Yeah.
We want to be right. We want to be heard. We want everyone to agree with our opinions, right? But once you realize that you're not the smartest in the room, you're never going to be the best. There's going to be other people out there that are better than you. Once you're willing to accept that, then you don't have to sit there and just be like, "Oh, you know what? I own Google because I learned something from Kyle, but I'm too afraid to admit it." I don't give a fuck that I learned it from Kyle.
Right.
Because it's just the same thing. It's like if I learned that E equals MC squared and then I take that shit and I build SpaceX or something and I whatever and I come up, great. Einstein fucking came up with something, but then I use that, whatever. Right? So it's okay. And so that's the problem. They don't fucking want to learn. They don't want to admit.
Yes, and we are all standing on the shoulders of giants. Like, there are a lot of people that I learned from too in my career. Like OMG, like I learned a bunch from those guys about like PBNs and shit. Like Josh Baczynski, learned a lot from him about fucking on-page SEO and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
We're all standing on the shoulders of giants. There is no reason to think that or to believe that any single one of us did all of this on our own.
No,
and it would be doing a disservice not just to your clients but to yourself to pretend that you have. Like, just be humble and realize that other people know more than you.
Right, absolutely. Right? Unless you're Alicia and you're the void.
Exactly. She is the void. She is the keeper and creator of all knowledge, discovered and to be discovered.
Yes.
Yes.
I think coming full circle back to what we were talking about before with can you own an agency if you don't know anything. I think when you're in the white label arrangement with it, they like the deliverables and they like the reports because they don't have the knowledge to discuss the outcome. They need that piece of paper.
Right.
Like, look, this is what I got done for you this month.
You're exactly right.
I find that to be true.
It's tangible. Yes. That's it. That's all it is.
They need something tangible,
because they don't understand the intangible. They can't speak about the intangible. They need to be able to produce a piece of paper for somebody to justify the payment.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yes.
Yep.
And I hate deliverables because I don't know how you guys work. If you're more,
we don't do deliverables. Like I said, we don't do deliverables. You get leads and ROI. You want anything else in that? Fuck you.
The only
somebody else.
I usually hand over like a report of the rankings. Like I don't like. What else do you? I mean, do you want me to just do work for the sake of work? Like
some people do. Some people do. Like if you work with this is why I will never work with roofers again, because a lot of blue collar companies equate hours worked with value rather than ROI.
Right. Yeah,
I found that with services in general too.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I find with home services in general, like they want to know what you did for your money that month, and like
this is what I did.
Well, that's when you start producing 2 blog posts a month, and there you go.
Well, no, but here's the thing: with our existing clients, some of them we found just to make them happy, we have to give them some stupid fucking deliverable for these white people, and that's fine. But I did have this conversation the other day because I was so fucking exhausted talking to clients, and that's another thing. I get it. I find myself just getting exhausted. It's
draining.
So valuable.
It can be very draining.
They just want to fucking talk. They want to get on a Zoom. They just want to hear them. But I remember I was saying, God, should we just start giving deliverables just so we can they could leave us the fuck alone? It was actually me acquiescing for a brief moment.
Yeah.
And then I woke up the next day.
You were just hallucinating for a second there, and then you came to your senses.
That's something about that. That was like when I sign a new client, month 1, I may put 100 hours into optimizing that website.
Jesus, hire somebody,
That's a
Alicia.
lot.
Like,
We
God
need you to
damn.
hire someone. Do it
Fucking
for
hire
us.
somebody.
Month 2, I may spend 4 hours on their campaign. Like, I don't figure.
Or what if, stay with me, what if you only spent 4 hours on their campaign total and hired somebody else to do it?
It's crazy talk.
No, it's really not actually. No, it's really not, and it's something that Kyle's been telling me for a long time. And I finally, like I said, like gave in. You know, but I mean, like, okay, here's what I want to do. I want to like change the subject real quick because I got to go soon.
Same.
You know, but I could leave and you
5
guys
minutes. Let's do
stay on.
5 minutes.
Well,
No,
we could do
I am getting progressively more drunk and
4:15 is when I'll turn.
I am getting progressively
I can
more
do 10 more.
drunk and
But
belligerent.
here's what I want to say.
What is
Oh, yeah.
the next thing?
Drunk Kyle's the
Your
best.
camera off, nobody would know when you leave. There's a method to my madness.
There, yeah,
I mean,
There you go.
I love that.
It's apple juice, Kyle. Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
It's absolutely not. Let's call a spade. Apple juice does not get me fucking.
But look, we are having a good time because we're almost at the 2-hour mark.
Time
Yeah,
flies
that's
by.
fine. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie.
Who is actually still watching us? Just like fucking.
think
I have
anybody-
no idea. It's
Dump
been,
on people.
it's
I don't
really
even see that
funny
person.
because it's 2 to 4 people every time that will leave comments. It's David and George and Nathan. And they do
Nathan,
have
he
some
left a comment last time we were on here. You know what?
Yeah,
You know what, Moon? I gotta
Is that-
say,
is that
like
Bernardo-
we
is that the guy
get
from the vineyard, the guy that's like that lives near the vineyard.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
You know what, Moon? I gotta say, Dimitri and I have been told that whenever we are on, it is the highest engagement for. Fuck. Who's
Just
texting
saying.
me?
You are killing me.
I'm not joking. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody did say that. So thank you for gracing me.
Was it Kyle who said that?
But I'll tell you this. If you just have a real conversation and you're just having fun and you're just being yourself,
Yeah,
that's what works best.
absolutely.
Just be yourself. Who cares? It is what it is. But yeah, as far as these types of conversations go and all this kind of stuff, I think what's really great about this is it is giving me an opportunity to be a little more or a little less apprehensive. I would never do like a live thing. I don't really do that. So it's hard for me to like feel comfortable doing it. So that's good. Even if though nobody's watching, I don't care. I think it's great.
Right.
I mean,
No,
whatever.
same here. And I think it's important to have honest conversations because me and Kyle, we've touched on this. Like everyone, we're all marketers, right? We market ourselves online. So no one's willing to be vulnerable or discuss the shit behind the scenes. You know what I mean? So it's really good to have these honest conversations and like different thoughts as well. You guys lean towards gray to black hat. Me and Alicia probably are more white to gray. And so it gives you like a perspective of everything. It fucking gives you a perspective. So that's always cool.
Yep.
Hey, David says he's loving this. So there you go. He loves it.
Join the Green Hat group.
Dave,
Join us. We are one member away from the magic number. We are one number away from the greener number.
Right. Green Hat, baby.
But you know what I do? Feel free to plug your group too, Alicia.
Oh shit! So I'd have to know the name of it then.
Isn't it Ultimate On Page?
That sounds right.
Yeah, there you go. It's Ultimate On Page something, and maybe just SEO.
I don't think you invited me and Dimitri in there, and frankly, I'm a little miffed
She's
about
probably
that.
gonna block you guys. Yeah.
Laps on it. Actually, I still have to finish the blog too.
Blogs. Didn't we just spend 2 hours talking about how blogs are bullshit? And it's just deliverables for your clients.
No, hear me out. My blog is actually an affiliate marketing site that I don't expect any organic traffic to because I'm not even promoting it.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I accepted Alicia's friend request on Facebook today.
Ooh,
whoa, Alicia, you are in rarefied air. Not everybody gets to be Dimitri's friend.
And I think yesterday I actually friend requested Kyle because I was like, oh, looks like Facebook is telling me I need to be his friend, and I was like, okay. I didn't realize we weren't friends. I mean, that's how much I fucking love Facebook, Alicia.
Oh man, I
hate Facebook,
despise
but I have to be on there.
all platforms. The only one I'm even on is Facebook, and I realize I probably have to change that. But
And yeah,
well,
and you know what? You are lagging behind Moon and Dimitri. You comment on like 1 out of every 10 of my posts. Again, frankly, I'm a little miffed about the lack of love I'm getting here.
Well,
I
that's
hit
the
like on each one of your guys' posts, and I try to leave a comment every time.
Same here. And you know
Yeah.
what? I want a little credit for your group, Moon, being as big as it is, because I'm pretty sure all of my contributions are like, fuck, Kyle's here. We gotta join this group.
You know
We
what?
gotta,
It
we gotta
was
do this thing.
yeah, it was when Kyle joined that hundreds of people started
It was
joining.
the hockey stick. It was the hockey stick growth,
It-
baby.
it-
It was the Kyle factor. It was the K factor. This is a scientific fact. You put the K factor into your juice, and it's like,
you know, he's just coming off the high that the Dodgers won yesterday, 8-0. That's how it is.
great
He's just,
game.
yeah, he's just
It's
coming
so
off
hard
the
to
high.
watch these games. Like, yeah.
man.
Hey, but I'll say this, Moon. You know, at the end of the day, I think SEO is a very interesting world, and
Mhm.
I love learning it, and I love like being in it. And if and I would still be doing it even if I didn't have to or didn't want to. Like, I would still be in it. You know,
Same.
it's something that I really enjoy, and I think that
Same.
that is where you actually that's where the purity comes in, and that's where you really want to find people that care. And you want to find people that care because they actually care about the process and they care about learning. And that's what differentiates us, I think, from a lot of people, is because I'm not actually just oh, I want to be an agency owner. I really love it. And I'm okay, cool, I can make money, cool. But I actually love it.
Right.
All day.
That's awesome.
And I think that's what it is, man.
Absolutely. You know what? We should have Dimitri pop off on PPC next episode.
We should. You know what? We need to do a theme, and I'll run it by you guys before we come on live. That way, we have some serious SEO concept or PPC to talk about.
Right, and it's not just George and David Morgan fucking commenting and watching us. Just
Hell yeah.
Nathan wants to go drinking with us.
Look at this.
Yeah, we should just down in San Diego. Like I said, we need to get our San Diego meetup. Alicia, come fly down with us. We'll hang out.
Bring all the cats.
We'll get shitty.
Look, David is saying, Moon, do more of these chats, please. We've got some fans, you guys.
Do more chats. Do more chats with Kyle and Dimitri.
I mean, why don't we just fucking listen? If it's just going to be David and Nathan, let's just have Dave, Nathan, George join us on these videos. I mean, why not?
Seriously. No, I will say, every time I've done a live, there are anywhere from 2 to 6 people that will stay on the whole hour or whatever, which is, that's a lot of time people are spending with you consistently. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool. But I mean, it's all you two. Fuck me and Alicia. It's you two. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, sorry, but yeah, of course.
Just being honest. Just being honest.
He's like, okay, so how should we end this? Any parting words?
I'm gonna go take this into the bathroom, and you guys will then hear the longest piss.
No.
Oh God, please.
Seriously, that's how we're gonna end it. And it's just I'll mute.
Okay, Dimitri, I'm calling you out. Do it. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up.
Are you actually
drink
gonna eat
an entire soda?
After?
And
Moon, are you questioning this? You've met Dimitri in person.
No,
This
I
is
really
gonna happen.
do not want. Please do not. You're at school.
What? What school?
You mean he's in the bathroom, right?
I'll repeat that again. Moon. Hey, Moon, I'm going to tell you right now.
What?
I'm not into weed, but it's almost 420.
Right
there. That right there is one of those things that people love to talk about.
That is something people
Let's
love.
talk about it. I am a user. Here's my vape right here. Okay, show this on.
You are?
On
you actually?
I was gonna say maybe not show it off.
Like I said, I have several chemical dependencies I use to get through my career and my day as SEO.
You know what? I can't blame you. I cannot blame you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's have some parting words. I don't know what question to ask.
Why don't we not have a question? We just like try to fucking wrap this up like some 1980s cartoon and have some just like PSA and shit.
I got a PSA for you right here.
All right, go for it.
You ready?
Go for
Listen,
it.
kids. Okay.
Listen, to
You're
Uncle
going to hear a
Dimitri.
lot of people telling you about how to do SEO right. But the truth is you have to really look inside and really realize that you don't know fucking shit. And you
Okay.
should
I
just
like
listen
that.
to the local Phoenix and to the green hats that are here, just like spreading the love.
Spread
That's
the
right.
love.
You know
I
what?
like that PSA.
You know what? It's like I posted earlier today. Ted Kubitis, I think, really summed it up well. All hat is black hat. Everything else is just Google approved bullshit.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, that's
Alyssa,
the
what you
guy
got
who
for us too?
made Quora.
All SEO is black hat. Everything else is Google approved bullshit. That's the guy who owns Quora. Yeah.
That
Fair
dude's
enough.
badass.
Fair enough. Alicia, you got some parting words for us?
I think whatever question you have about SEO or any decision you need to make about your client's campaign, you should just ask yourself, WWKD, what would Kyle do?
Okay.
Love it.
All
I love it.
We can't fucking
Alicia,
top
you
that.
are in my echelon of favorite people now.
There you go.
So,
I've been removed. It's you now, Alicia.
there can only be one room for one woman. Sorry, Moon. Yeah.
I don't even have parting words because I can't do better than that.
Yeah.
I can't. That was great. Well, you guys, thanks for tuning in. And thank you for leaving all the comments, keeping us company for
What did Nathan say? Did we ever get to his? Or just like, yeah, Nathan, something great to say, and then Kyle and Dimitri are like, blah, 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 right?
No, we had comments throughout, and feel free to answer them after the live goes off. They did have a couple, but we were so into the conversation. So thanks for joining us, and let's do this in a couple weeks again, you guys.
Let's do it.
And gal. All right. See y'all next time.
Cool. Talk to you guys later.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.